How's it going, everyone? Name is Omni Ferrucci. I am on Twitter and I a lot with this stuff, and I decided I'm gonna make my first video, and I'm gonna try it on something I haven't seen before: peripheral vendor tier list. So I see tier lists for mice and pads and keyboard stuff a lot, but never for vendors. And I think there's a lot of really good vendors out there, and I love tier lists. And I figured, why not make this my first video? So I am around the community quite a bit. I think quite a few people know about me. I tend to buy literally everything. I am a boomer gamer, 35 years old, and I tend to spend way too much money on this stuff, but it gives me joy, and I have a great time doing it. So without further ado, I'm going to make this list, and I'll try to make some other videos going forward too, because why not? So let's begin. We got Addis Inc. This is Addis Inc. Oh, you know what? I think I have them in here twice. I think this one's also, yes, that's also Addis, so whoops. But first video, forgive me. Anyway, Addis Inc. They're a great company. What I know them for is Tiger Esports pads, and they ship quick. They are communicative, and the other nice thing about them is that they seem to really uphold their end of the bargain if like there's something wrong, like the Blaze pads, the Cordura mouse pad by Tiger Esports. I know mine had a problem, and real quick they replaced it, and then Tiger Esports came out and said that they knew they had problems and you could get more replacements, so they put me on a list for that as well. So I have two Tiger Esport Blazes, and a third probably will come, all because Addis is very helpful. So I'm actually going to put them at A. I think they're solid. So this one's Addis as well. I'm just going to skip it. Actually, can I put it? Yes, I can. Great. Okay, Agile Cables. So Agile Cables, they make paracords for mice. They always have them in stock, it seems, or mostly in stock. It just takes a little while to make it, but they have fantastic colorways, really flexible cords. It's one of my favorites. That and Lethal is probably my two favorite paracords. I love Dream Cables. Oh, I even put Dream Cables on here. Oh, there you go. First video, right? But Dream Cables I'd probably put at a B or an A. Anyway, Agile, they also sell mice. They sell pads. They've been partnered with Artisan, which is really cool. And I think they're a really solid, vendor, and they're very communicative. Now, I would probably God tier them, but one thing, they have the Extrafy MZ1 pre-order. I pre-ordered with them because I wanted to support them, but they still have yet to get it. It's not really their fault, but I can't put everybody in God tier, so I'm just going to put them in A tier for now. They're like probably the top of A. Fantastic company. Canon keys. This is more of a, oh, that's going to be black, huh? Well, Canon keys is more of a keyboard, kind of custom keyboard company, vendor. You can get group buys for caps from them, lube, switches, all that kind of stuff. I've gotten switches from them. I just got on a group buy for GMK Fuji set with them. Good company, solid. I've never had a problem. I think a solid A tier. Glorious. So I'm gonna let me put a disclaimer on this list. None of these are really big companies. Like, I don't have Amazon in here. Amazon's probably God tier because you can just return anything you want. I don't have any of the first parties either. So no Logitech, no Razer, no Extrafy, Rocat, any of that. Glorious is first party, but they also, in my opinion, they're a little bit like third party. I don't know. I just wanted to include them in the list, but I'm going to put them at B. And the reason is anybody that's ordered from them knows that that shipping is god awful, and they really don't communicate so great. But I honestly would put them trash. But the only reason they're getting the B is because I have worked with their customer service, and although it takes them forever to get back to you, they have replaced two different mice for me. Now, granted, a Model O and a Model O minus in the past. Now, granted, if you make the mouse good from the get-go, you don't have to replace it. But nonetheless, the Model O wireless was solid. I bet the D wireless is going to be solid. But this ain't a list about the mice. It's just how the vendor is. And I think they're okay-ish, but they don't ship very good. But they do talk to you at least, so that's good. This is the Addis one. Jeez, I'm sorry. So here we go. Kinetic Labs. I'm going to pop them in God tier. I'm going to make that the first God tier. Kinetic Labs is another custom keyboard vendor, and they make their own switches. If you check out Too Much Tech's YouTube, Kyle's got videos on them, on a bunch of their switches. He just put out one with a bunch of their tactile switches, or no, 2 tactiles and 2 linears. They make a lot of cool switches, and then they sell other switches like Duroc, L Series, and they sell a Yoke Panda. So they give you some options, and they have their own kind of lube too, the GS1 and the GS2, and they also have the lube. You could also get like Krytox from them, but they have lube in vials, which is wicked cool. I love that. And then they also have these pallets that you can put the lube out on. So really cool. Oh, they also have really nice bins to store switches and caps. Great company. I really love them. I think God tier, and they're also very communicative with you. Lethal's also God tier. Lethal might not only be God tier, but my favorite vendor. So Lethal Gaming Gear, if you don't know, I don't know how you win it if you're in this hobby. They sell like mouse feet, so feet, grips, paracords. They're not doing them right now, but I know they're supposed to be having some third party do them now. Their paracords are great. I got one for my M42. And so they do quite a lot, and now they sell pads, they sell x-ray pads, they also sell artisan. They just had the big artisan drop. But 2 reasons I put them in God tier: their customer service is just the best thing I've ever seen. Their shipping is also phenomenal. But 2 specific situations happen for me that make me love them so much. They replaced very recently my Artisan Raiden Extra Soft was actually like rolling up on the edges, which is very rare for Artisan. So it's clearly a defect, because that's not like Artisan pads. And I sent them a bunch of pictures, and without even responding, they sent me a notice that they already shipping me a replacement X-Soft Rated, and that they gave me the return label. They already sent it in my email. Unbelievable. The guy that runs Lethal is phenomenal. That's insane customer service. I just asked, like, hey, do you happen to have an extra? If you don't, it's okay. Do you know how I can like flatten this out? And he just sends it. Unbelievable. Not only that, but the second time was when they had their XM1Rs. So they also sell Endgame Gear mice and pads. And when they were selling the XM1R, I had ordered one on top of an order I'd already made, like some feet, some skates for a mouse, and they had forgotten to send it, which was kind of like, oh, okay. But I emailed them, or I messaged them on Twitter like a week later, and they sent it and gave it to me for free, just because they forgot to send it. Like, incredible. Like, what a company this the Lethal is. Insane. Novel Keys. So Novel Keys I'm also going to pop in God tier. Now, I know I'm like top heavy, but I like these guys. So anyway, Novel Keys is the first real custom keyboard vendor I heard about when I started really getting into customs. And Novel Keys, they sell boards, they sell switches, lube, springs, a lot of stuff. Caps you can get on group buys. I just got on GMK Metropolis with them. They're just like Kinetic and Lethal. They're fast shipping, like immediately they ship it. They great customer service. They've multiple times added a promo for me when I forgot to add one ahead of time. Actually both of these guys have done that too. And, just really good company and a great start. Oh, also their boards, like NK65 entry is like a perfect entry board to get into the hobby. That was what I started on. Great board, great company, good vendor. Next one, Peripheral Key Company. I'm going to pop them an A. Prevail Key Company is pretty new, I think. I just got the Aqua King V2 V3s from them, which is probably no joke the best switch on the market. They're also sold out like all the time, and that's actually how I found it. Was I looked on Prevail. I had it on the drop. I had it on drops. Drop that would come out in June, and I ended up finding it on Prevail, and I'm like, what is Prevail? They have a lot. They sell a lot of the same stuff a lot of these other keyboard companies do, like switches and caps and whatnot. But they they're another one that's like really communicative. I know, like right after you make an order, I think their owner actually emails you saying, "Hey, if you have any questions, just let me know." Like right off the rip, pretty cool. Yeah, good company. Prime keyboards. So let's see. Prime keyboards are probably an A. Main thing I did with them is I have used I used or I got the alpacas with them. I believe they're like the main vendor for the alpaca switches. So another custom, solid, quick shipping, etc., etc. They actually returned some silent alpacas for me as well, real easy, and it was even past 30 days. I think it was. Either way, it was a really easy return. Good, solid company. Swag, I'm gonna throw them an A too. I think they're out of the UK. I recently used them to get some SB Star Luminous switches and some banana splits when they came back in stock with them at least. And another one that's just solid. The shipping to US is a little nuts, but that's because it's overseas. It is DHL though, and it is pretty fast. So for the most part, good company. They seem to have a decent selection of stuff. I like them for customs. Key Dot Company is going to be my first trash tier. Now, Key Dot Company is like novel keys to me. They're like one of the first ones I got into when I really started messing with customs. And I think they're a good company. They used to be, at least. It seems like the last like couple months they've gone downhill fast. They messed up the recent batch of tangerine switches and kiwi switches. If you don't know, they're the company that makes like all the fruit switches, so tangerine, kiwi, banana split, and dragon fruit. And for the most part, all those switches are great, minus dragon fruit. Those are a little bit pingy, but the other three are fantastic. People love those three. And they're like the primary vendor for them. They don't actually make them. I believe JWK does. But nonetheless, they sell them. And they're basically their switches. And then they also have like an entry board called the Portico. Now, if you know me, I just posted on Twitter recently, within the last couple of weeks, I had got my Portico. I was on a group buy for it. And it came in the case with all the standoffs and the screws just littered through the case. I'm surprised it didn't get scratched. It may have, and I didn't even notice, but that rubbed me the wrong way. Like, why are you shipping like this? Not to mention the Kiwi switches I had gotten before were like some of them were defective already, and now this Portico's like this, and I'm like, okay. And I go to build the board, and real recently, like a few days ago, I went to build it. I finished the whole board. I plugged in the USB-C, and it literally ripped off the PCB. Literally, the port ripped off the PCB, and I didn't even it's not like I jammed it in there with a hammer. It's like I literally just plugged it in gently, and it ripped right off. So, terrible quality control. Now, they are actually going to replace my PCB, so decent customer service. I'd love to move them. I think I would put them probably A tier like 6 months ago, but they've gone downhill fast, and I hope they can fix it. I don't know what's going on over there. Vessel Gaming, I'm actually going to put them in God tier. So this is slightly cheating. They're a vendor through Amazon, and they mostly sell G-Wolves mice. I have a story about them, though, that puts them this high. So I know it's through Amazon, but they go out of their way to take... So G-Wolves mice, like the Hattie S skull, they're... Especially the Hattie S, people seem to love it. And but the shape, people love the shape. It's like a small G Pro, like a really small G Pro, which is cool. Actually with an even bigger back, which is nice for claw. But anyway, the same about mice. So The people love that mouse, but the quality control out of G Wolves is not great. They tend to, like the mouse tends to creak and has problems. I had actually pre-ordered mine through X-Ray Pad, which I'll get to. Obviously, they're down here. And I'd got my Hattie S wireless, and it was creaking, and it had terrible connection issues, and I tried everything to fix it. And then I got a hold of Vessel, and I asked them, hey, are you guys getting any new Hattie S wireless? And pretty recently, and they were like, yes, we are actually. And I showed them the videos I took of my laggy one, and they said send us that, and we'll send you one when we get it. And I was like, what? I didn't even buy it through them, but they went out of their way to send me. They paid for postage too to send it to them. Sent it to them. They sent me a brand new Hattie S wireless. And not only that, but they quality control check the stuff from G Wolves. So it comes from G Wolves. They make sure everything's working right. I actually think they're really nice. And then they also have the Amazon backing. So like returns are stupid easy, and the great vendor, Vessel Gaming. W paracords I'm going to put in B, and honestly, almost trash. But I'm going to give them a break because I know I think it's like 2 people, and they're young, like high school kids or something. So I'm not going to rate harsh to be too harsh. But the only thing I did with them is I got 1 paracord for Viper Mini, and the cord itself is pretty nice. But the stress relief, the 3D stress relief, it literally broke apart, which ain't great, and I had to glue it back together. And not only that, but it took like well over a month to even ship when I ordered it, and I had to keep asking him what's up with it. So a little suspect. I think I've heard he's getting a lot better. I heard that things are going out a lot faster. So, but I figured I'd throw it in here. X-ray pad. Oh, geez, I grabbed that as the hidden one. X-ray pad. I'm gonna pop at a B. X-ray pad. They make like they're known for Aqua Control Plus mouse pads. The Equate Plus, the Thor, those kind of pads. And they make good pads, and then they're also known as like being one of the main G Wolves vendors. I put them low because it takes forever to ship. I think they're out of China, so it to the U.S. at least it takes forever. It also costs quite a bit. And I don't think they quality control too much. I mean, the pads I've had no problems, but they're mouse pads. There's not much to check. But like that Hattie S situation, not good. Like they just got it and threw it at me. Whereas Vessel goes out of their way to check those things, So, okay. Oh, they make good pads, but as a vendor, it's okay. They're all right. I'm missing a few. As I was doing this, I'm doing it on the fly. I realize I'm missing a few that I've ordered from like 3D Keebs. I've ordered some switches from. They're okay. I might put them at like a B because I got the U4T Bobas from them. It's a switch, and the black edition, and they didn't ship it to me until very recently. Whereas I've seen other people get it sooner, and I was asking them what's up with that. But I haven't really dealt with them too much, so I'd probably put them at like a B. And then there's probably others I'm missing. But anyway, this is my first video. I'm just giving it a shot, and I wanted to make a tier list of something that I haven't seen is a vendor tier list. Thanks for listening or watching. And, I'll see you in the next one.